What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Series 11 rental team video, and by the time this video goes live, it will have officially been the start of the new year 2022. So for those watching, Happy New Year. This is the final month of Series 11, and that means that next month will be the next format, which is Series 12. And before you fully engage in Series 12, if you need a team to get back into Master Ball for the final month of Series 11, I got you covered. I've got 5 new teams to get you back to that level. And again, if you've been watching the team building videos that we did all of last week, then you already know what these teams are. So without further ado, let's just go straight into the rental videos, and let's just get straight on to the Pokepaste as well. Alright, this is our first rental code, and this is called Dragonite. When I first posted this team on Reddit, someone gave me the name Dragonite that this should be called, and you know what? I give wholeheartedly full credit to that Reddit user, so thank you for the name. But yeah, this is Dragonite. This is the Zacian Dragonite team that we were building in that first of 5 team building videos towards the end of December. And again, this is inspired mainly from Ice Bullet 67. They came up with the original concept of the team. I stuck with the same 6, but I changed around the spreads just a little bit, just based on what I like to play and how I feel that is more comfortable with the sets that we're using with these mons. So Zacian Dragonite is our first rental code, so let's just take a look at the Pokepaste and see what the EVs are looking at. Alright, and here's the Pokepaste that we developed in the team building video, and here it is again. So basically, the speed for Zacian allows it to outspeed Cinderace because you're at 190, so you outspeed speed creepers actually. Alright, so and then the Dragonite does the same thing, but we're 1 speed faster than our Zacian after a +1, so there's that. And then the Blastoise and the Raichu. Again, the Raichu supports the Blastoise because, you know, Blastoise being weak to electric attacks, the Raichu is able to absorb that with the Lightning Rod, and the speed tier on the Blastoise is 112, which allows you to outspeed base 100s after a +1 Airstream or after a -1 speed reduction. The Raichu again provides the speed control with Nuzzle. It provides Eerie Impulse to neuter those special attackers like a Calyrex-Shadow or a Dialga, for example, or even Palkia. And then you have a faster fake out user like that's even faster than like Incineroar and Rillaboom. And speaking of those two, you have those two on the team. So Incineroar gives the team that Intimidate support to reduce attack. So this way you're able to soak up a little bit more damage on the physical side. You can pivot and, you know, make your opponents weaker with Parting Shot. Throat Chop is really good for the Calyrex-Shadow matchup. And then the Rillaboom, same idea. It's your matchup for Kyogre along with the Blastoise and the Raichu. You do have the speed control tech of Drum Beating if you need it, but again, with 115 speed, you are faster than those base 100 speed creepers, those 112, those 113s. So yeah, you're just a faster Rillaboom with Fake Out, and of course, your HP is optimized for grassy terrain recovery, and you're just Adamant 252 overall, just to be like the hardest hitting kind of Rillaboom. All right, and then just to go back to the Dragonite, again, you know, superpower that's mainly to KO Incineroars, you know, dual wing beat, stab for grass types like Amoonguss, break their sash, Venusaur, same idea, you know, super effective against them. And also Rillabooms just in general. And then, you know, Dragon Dance after a +1 boost, you can outspeed a lot of the meta, especially if you Dynamax the next turn and go for something like a Max Airstream. And don't forget, Blastoise does have a speed control option of Icy Wind. Normally that would be something like Ice Beam or even Blizzard, but I went with Icy Wind just so that you can use Blastoise outside of Max and click a speed control move like an Icy Wind. And again, Yawn is just there to punish early Dynamax options that are just not prepared for it. So yeah, that is our Zacian Dragonite team. Let's move on to the second team. Okay, so this is the second team that we made as one of 5 rentals for our January rentals. So this is the greedy Calyrex team that we came up with. Again, I'm not really a Calyrex Shadow player. I don't like that it's frail. I prefer to play bulkier mons, but again, if I had to play a Calyrex Shadow team, this is how I would do it. Of course, I'm going to go full greed with Nasty Plot shenanigans. So again, you have the Calyrex with Nasty Plot, you have the Clefairy to help redirect and support that with the Nasty Plot, and you can go the Tailwind route with Calyrex and Whimsicott just for extra speed control, because Regieleki is a thing, so you want to be able to outspeed Regieleki, so you go with something like Tailwind. You also have the Trick Room route where you can use Porygon-Z, believe it or not, and Clefairy. So PZ Clef was always a strong combination, especially without uber restricteds. That was very, very good. Just Life Orb, hard hitting max strikes can just one shot a lot of things, including some Dynamax mons. And again, the way this combination works is with Dark Pulse, you can go for max darkness plays, drop special defenses, I should say, and then Calyrex can just come in the back and click Astro Barrage and win the game. On the flip side, you can Dynamax your Calyrex and go for max Phantasms, and then something like an Urshifu or even Thundurus can come in from the back and take advantage of those defense drops. Thundurus Urshifu is always a good lead, another good combination, another hyper offensive combo where you lead the Thundurus, you lead the Urshifu, you go for max Airstreams, you boost your Urshifu speed, you go for max Knuckles, you boost your Urshifu's attack, who already hits very, very hard with that choice band, and then you could just potentially sweep teams from there if they're not ready for that kind of combination. So lots of good combos here. It's a very hyper offensive team, and again, you do have Trick Room on the Porygon-Z if you are going against a Trick Room team, just so that you have some way to deal with it. But yeah, let's take a look at the paste and see the EV spreads. So here's the Pokepaste, and again, this is one of our more basic spreads here that we're looking at. So in terms of Calyrex Shadow, again, just 252, 252. Same thing with the Whimsicott, same thing with the Urshifu, because you have a Focus Sash, you have a Choice Band. The thing with the Clefairy, we just EV just to make it super bulky. We made it to the bump in the Bold Nature, and then the rest just went into Special Defense. Porygon-Z, again, you're just, you have enough speed where you can outspeed Regieleki after Tailwind. Then most of it went into the Special Attack, the third bump, I believe, and then you just went into a little bit of HP just to optimize your Life Orb chip. And then the Thundurus, again, max speed just to hit that 179 benchmark, and a little bit of bulk. And again, if you want to know what that bulk does, again, check out the team building video where we do talk about what this bulk actually calcs for. A little bit too long just for this kind of video, but again, check out the team building video to see what we did there. But yeah, that's this rental. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3, we have Yveltal. This one was a popular request even on Reddit from me specifically. So here it is. I felt like I should have released Yveltal maybe in the second month of Series 11, but I waited for the third month. So here it is. This is how I would try and run Yveltal. It is with an Yveltal Metagross kind of squad. So again, without the Entei, we're going to go with Spectre, which is something that has been forgotten in this format. Again, if you watch the team building video, I originally had Taunt in the Snarl spot just so that I could deny Trick Room. But there was quite a few scenarios where I wish I had Snarl over Taunt, so I went with Snarl instead. And Snarl is very, very nice with Yveltal because it is a dark move. You can capitalize off that dark aura. So yeah, and you are a special attacker, so it might as well just take full advantage of the Snarl benefits. Again, you can proc the weakness policy with Bulldoze, and then Metagross gets a +2 attack bonus, and then you can just go for those hard-hitting max Steel Spikes, max Quakes, boost up your defenses while dealing good damage, and then Yveltal can come in the back or even partner with Metagross and then just overall weaken the opponent's mon, because that is Yveltal's role as a uber restricted, right? Weaken the opponent's team so that your mons can function and sweep without too many distractions, right? And then Landorus here is also a good flying option, just so that if there's max Quakes going into your Metagross, Regieleki, or Incineroar, then you can potentially pivot into your Landorus as a flying type, and then you waste their ground move. You are Life Orb here, so Life Orb Landorus with Magnet Regieleki is very, very oppressive. It's a good combination. And again, just max Airstream is really, really good. You can make your Yveltal faster, and then Incineroar just does Incineroar things with the safety goggles. It's a little bit more security in the Sun matchup with Venusaur Sleep Powder and also Amoonguss Spore. So yeah, let's just take a look at the pace and see what we're looking at in terms of EV spreads. Alright, and here's our Yveltal spread. So we are a modest natured up to the first bump, and you have enough speed where you could outspeed Calyrex-ShadowRider, speed creepers at +1 after an airstream or an electroweb reduction. And again, Snarl and Stab is just really good at weakening your opponent's special attack mons. Foul Play, really good against weakness policy mons that want to self-activate it, like a Solgaleo or like a Calyrex-ShadowRider or even Zacian. It deals like half of Zacian's health, honestly. And then Oblivion Wing, just to, again, damage your opponent's mons and then regain health back, just to overall stay bulky on the field and just recover over time. Metagross, again, that speed tier is 113, so you can outspeed base 100 speed creepers after a +1 or a -1 from Regieleki. Again, same idea as the other team. Max Steel Spike, Max Quake to boost your defenses while hitting hard with that weakness policy boost. Spectre, again, kind of like Yveltal, meant to, give you some speed control with Bulldoze, and then Will-O-Wisp to weaken your opponent physical attackers like something like a Zacian or Groudon that doesn't want to take a Will-O-Wisp. I know it says Taunt on that Pokepaste, but again, that should be Snarl, so I'll go ahead and fix that when I post it in the video description, but that is meant to be Snarl. Again, Incineroar, Throat Chop, really good next to Yveltal because it's a dark move, get more benefit from that Dark Aura. And again, we talked about the Landorus and Regieleki. So the Landorus, the HP is optimized for Life Orb Chip, just so that you end in a 9 and then you just optimize the damage that you take from Life Orb. The speed is just so that you're faster than your own Yveltal, so you don't speed tie it. So that means you're faster than Calyrex speed creepers in that sort of sense, right? So you're speed creeping everything, all right? And again, Regieleki is just, a little bit more speed control with Electroweb and good for the Kyogre matchup because, now you have something that hits both Tornadus and Kyogre for very, very hard damage. So yeah, that's it for this pace. One thing I will mention with the Incineroar spread, and I think it's more or less the same Incineroar that we've been using. That spread, again, it's meant to, outspeed most Laprases, so that way you can get off a parting shot, so their Lapras is useless, and you have enough bulk where you can survive a Zacian close combat after you intimidate it and bring it to neutral. Alright, now let's go on to the next rental. Coming in number 4 is our Kyurem-White rental team. This is one of my more favorite teams, especially from Series 8. I like to call it American Kyurem because, Kyurem-White is red, white, and blue mon. So I call it America's favorite Pokemon. But again, Life Orb to deal really, really hard damage. We have Freeze Dry just instead of Blizzard, just so that we can hit Kyogre for very, very hard damage. Grimmsnarl support with screens, and again, Spirit Break, Sucker Punch for the Calyrex-Shadow matchup, and then Spirit Break, just a good Fairy Stab against something like a Dark Urshifu, which Kyurem-White doesn't want to deal with. And again, Metagross is here yet again. I just love Metagross, and again, it rounds out our Dragon Fairy Steel Core, and then we can proc the policy with Entei, with Bulldoze, Sacred Fire for its stab damage, really good against Groudon and Zacian. And then with the Assault Vest, you're able to tank a lot of special attacks like a Calyrex Astro Barrage. Regieleki has our tech choice of Eerie Impulse, just so that you can weaken other special attackers on the team, and you still deal very good damage with Thunderbolt and Electroweb thanks to Magnet, right? And then Rillaboom, there's our speed control tech of Drum Beating, and again, Grassy Glide, Fake Out, normal Rillaboom stuff. And with this, you get a Fire and a Grass type on the team, although there is no Water type, but that's still okay. Again, the Regieleki and the Rillaboom is just meant to have more support for the Kyogre matchup. Kyogre doesn't want to play against his team. That's all I'll say. So let's take a look at the pace and see the EV spreads. Alright, and here's our pace for our Kyurem-White team. Again, I really, really wanted to go modest on the Kyurem, but then, even at max speed, you end up just speed tying Jolly Zacians after a +1 or a -1 reduction, which I felt, I really didn't want I didn't really want it to come down to a speed tie, so I felt like Zacian is just way too common enough where, I have to just switch it to Timid. And then, Kyurem still does very good damage with the Life Orb. You're a base 170 tech, so even though you are Timid, you're doing less damage than Modest, you're still doing exceptional damage. And again, that HP mark is just to optimize the Life Orb chip, and the rest just went into leftover bulk. Alright, Grimmsnarl, same kind of Grimmsnarl spread that we've always been using. After a +1, or in this case -1 speed drops, you're faster than base speed 100s, so you can hit him hard like a Charizard with the Spirit Break. And again, you have Scary Face for extra speed control. Really good against Venusaur, which Kyurem-White can actually outspeed after a Scary Face very well. Entei and Metagross, again, this is the same Metagross spread that we've been using. Entei, same idea. Your HP is optimized for, you know, Hailstorm and Sand Chip, and then you're overall just bulky with that magic 103 prime number in the special defense, and then the rest just went into your attack stat. Rillaboom, again, same idea with our Rillaboom here. Base 115 speed, just to outspeed those base 100 speed creepers, and you just hit really hard with Adamant 252 with Miracle Seed, and Regieleki is just relatively standard. So yeah, that's our Kyurem-White spread. Let's go on to our Kyurem-White team EV spreads. Now let's go on to the final rental team of the video. Alright, this is Fire and Ice, as I like to call it. This is our Ho-Oh Lapras squad. Again, I feel like Ho-Oh really enjoys the benefit of Lapras screens, and again, you always know how I like to run my Lapras. I like to run it with Life Orb because, you know, Lapras just really misses that damage output, and even with the Life Orb, it's still not super amazing. But you know, behind screens, Ho-Oh does really well because of Regenerator, where you can pivot in and out and just gain HP back, but not take that much damage because of the screen support from Lapras. Amoonguss and Landorus are very common with a Lapras kind of team because, you know, again, Amoonguss is another Regenerator mon that when pivoting in and out, you get HP back, and then you can support your Landorus with Redirection and get up that Swords Dance, Dynamax it next turn, and then just go for +2 Airstreams, +2 Quakes, and even +2 Rock Slides against those you know, flying types. Raichu is there meant to help support the Ho-Oh and the Lapras because, you know, Ho-Oh and Lapras are very weak to electric attacks, so I felt like Raichu was the perfect fit on the team, just so that, you know, they can't bring their Regielekis to this matchup. Yeah, you almost don't want to bring Regieleki. Yes, you have an advantage against Ho-Oh and Lapras, but you have a Landorus and you have a Raichu, so I don't know how well an opposing Regieleki can do against this team. And again, it's the same kind of Raichu spread we've had with Nuzzle, Speed Control, Eerie Impulse to reduce special attacks, and again, you have that pivot move for Volt Switch. If you think a ground move is coming, you can pivot out into either your Landorus or Ho-Oh because you are a flying type. Umbreon behind screens is super annoying, and I believe is the low-key MVP of the team. First of all, it gives you that Calyrex-Shadow matchup. You have Foul Play against big physical attackers, and again, you can yawn and punish Dynamax options, and if Ho-Oh does Max Flare, you set the Sun, and now Moonlight behind Ho-Oh, you are able to heal up enormously because the drought is out. So yeah, that's our Ho-Oh Lapras rental code. Let's take a look at the paste. Alright, so there's a Pokepaste for our Ho-Oh squad, and again, the Ho-Oh really is just meant to outspeed Cinderace with that 127 benchmark. Again, more so to outspeed faster Groudons more than Cinderace, but yeah, it is there. And then because we have a weakness policy item on it, excuse me, we are at the second EV bump there, and then we have, you know, HP just so that we get a nice 207 round number there. And then Lapras, again, we're fast with 95 speed, just to outspeed almost all Incineroars. There are some faster Incineroars out there, but you are modest. You are to the EV bump in the special attack stat, and you have HP where you are optimized for Life Orb Chip. And then with this investment, you can survive the Rillaboom Wood Hammer. We showed that in our team building video for that calc, and you can also survive a Regieleki Max Lightning. And speaking of Regieleki Max Lightning, I don't know how useful it's going to be when you're up against Raichu or Landorus, but again, our Landorus here, with this kind of spread, with 196, you can outspeed Calyrex-Shadow after +1 Airstream. Your HP is optimized for Hailstorm chip damage, and the rest just went into your attack, and it's a nice even number, especially after you click Swords Dance. Amoonguss, again, just overall bulk, first EV bump in special defense, and then the rest just went into HP and defense. Specifically, that 236 HP mark is for Regenerator optimization, and the Umbreon, same idea. You are a bold nature Umbreon, so you are to the second bump there, and then the rest just went into special defense, and you have, you know, pretty much max HP just to be overall bulky. Again, Umbreon's job is not to deal damage, but rather stay on the field and be annoying and weaken the opponent with stuff like Foul Play or Snarl or Yawn, and just heal over time with Moonlight. So That's all 5 rentals. So hopefully you give some of them a shot. We'll showcase them in some cart videos. But yeah, we're still going along with Series 11 content. I know Series 12 is coming out soon, but we still have to get back to Master Ball, right? For Series 11. So these teams can do it. So yeah, the next few videos will be me showcasing all these teams. And we still have a few collaboration videos that we have to showcase on the channel. So until Series 12 comes out, we still have at least 2 weeks of Series 11 content. So enjoy and have a good one. Happy New Year once again.